Now let's tell you a story about the surge of teenage pregnancy. Rising teenage pregnancies in Mafi Anfoe in the central Tong district of the Volta region is causing deep concern among community leaders. Edem, 17, and Delight, 18, now mothers of a 6-month-old baby, struggle with poverty and the burden of raising their children. Their path mirrors that of many girls in her village, where early motherhood often traps them in a cycle of hardship. With their education disrupted, they fear returning to school, and because they fear they may remain out of reach. Emmanuel Jivenu has more in this feature.
In this quiet farming village of Mafi Anfoe, in the central Tong district of the Volta region, a growing concern echoes. Just like an unwelcome weed in a fertile soil, teenage pregnancy has got community leaders worried.
Most of the youth now are dropouts. Some because after their GSS, they don't have any other way to do. It is creating a lot of teenage pregnancy in the community. So in fact, it's affecting the community.
Meet 17-year-old mother Edem Agodo. She's currently nursing a 6-month-old baby. This teenage mother stays here with her auntie and grandmother. Life is difficult for the family, and to even afford one meal a day is a luxury. This abject poverty forced Edem to accept gifts from young men in the village. Edem recounts how she was lured into having sex with a male friend when he promised to cater for her.
Mafi Anfoe is primary school classes. Kafim over for Flamoji. Tananya Tatanya Gamolo Suako was in a school. Tamava for Flamoji. Tananya Hamala get the Tanya Monon Demonimo. Tata senior home lodging for Kafim to be a Yapalan. My Vapalan seem of have says. Our houses never for village. It does what school Magatan or you. I don't know force. Every kind of fight to classes. Every style Yapalente Tassia Gava Volley or be Yapalente to them. Don't know plan time. About force me over your Magala. They have said school of village.
The fear of being ostracized by society forces many teenagers to abort the fetus. Edem thought of it, but her auntie talked her out of the idea. Teenage parents, particularly mothers, usually struggle to provide for themselves and their babies. This often leads to a cycle of poverty. Edem and her baby sleep on an empty stomach when her auntie is unable to provide for them.
The view of watching Howie, O Bubeni, I interview Bo, or Gogane, or I be more dollar or more. Tanabe, the view, Malachi Capella, a formula, a duomo. Then you be dollar and a duomo or me. And my college be wow, adding to Bo.
Her education is disrupted because parenting has now taken the front role. Edem fears returning to the classroom may continue to be a mirage. Adolescents from broken homes or those lacking strong parental guidance may seek emotional support elsewhere, sometimes leading to early and unplanned pregnancies. Also, young people facing challenges such as a lack of stable environment and poverty may be vulnerable to early pregnancy.
Can't see the boys these days. When they do it, they run away. So it becomes a problem for the parents, and it's bringing burden on the parents. So they continue growing poorer and poorer and poorer.
Delight Goka gave birth just after completing senior high school. She felt indebted to a lotto agent who had supported her through school after her mother died.
When I was school, I see the system is hard for my parents. So my mother stayed at Accra, but sadly she fell sick. She was the one that is taking care of me. So when she fell sick, my grandmother was not able to look after me. Sometimes we peel cassava before we collected the distance and dry before we sell. So I closed the site. I took a guy that he was also helping me. So he too helped me when I went to the school. He was the one that provided my things. So when I completed and I was pregnant, I decided to give birth.
Delight lives with her grandmother and auntie. To be able to fend for herself and her 6-month-old baby, she helps in the Gary processing business. Delight yearns for a return to school. She's saving money made from other menial jobs to recite some of the Wasi papers.
Because when I finish, one of my papers is not good. English language is not good for me. So I had to write it back. And my grandmother is not willing, so I'm in the house. And it happened. Financial problem. If not, it will not happen like this because of financial problems. Like if my parents are richer, and along the way I don't even know my father. So it was only my mother throughout. So you know the pressure that she will be having. So it's because of financial problem. This one. By now I'm selling some soapy. I'm packing the the profit. So if time goes on, I'll go back to school again.
A German philanthropist, Mama Nenyo I, is looking at helping young mothers in this community. She is establishing a fashion training center for out-of-school young mothers and aims to strengthen their economic resilience.
Mama Nenyo, now named, said, well, will it be possible if we can start something like a fashion design industry in that community? And I said, yes, we can do it. So through this exchange of ideas, communication here and there, I left Ghana back to Germany, and then we all came out with the idea that grass to grace creative sector should be started in Mafi Anfoe, meaning from nowhere to somewhere, from ground to top.
The residents are excited about the prospects of the training center and its ability to empower teenage girls.
Let's have a conversation on the back of this. And joining us via Zoom is Thomas Moore Zonua. He's the DCE of Central Tongu. Mr. Moore, thank you for joining the conversation.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. So Delight was telling us that in the feature that it's because of financial problem, and I think that sort of mirrors the situation for many of these young girls. But really, I want to hear from you. What do you think is the reason that we are seeing the rise in teenage pregnancy in that district?
Thank you very much. Good morning again to your cherished listeners. Light has said it all, but that's not the only reason why teenage pregnancies on the increase in the district. There are several other factors. Example is some parents are not home. What I mean by not being home is that they are far away in other fishing communities for lack of employment. As usual about the people of Tong, we like fishing. So they are other districts, other regions doing their work. So they eventually left their children under the care of their grandmothers and their grandparents or other relatives. So parental care is not 100% in that regard. Employment is another issue. And then peer group influence is also another issue. So there are several other factors that are affecting this and sending these girls into.
Mr. Moore, hold for me. Let me also usher in Togbidra Aboitaka the fourth. He's the chief of Mafi Anfoe. Togbi Wezon. So Mr. Moore was just telling us that teenage pregnancy is on the rise because of peer pressure, lack of parental care, and unemployment. My question to you is, are you aware of this and what are you doing about it? Togbi, please unmute so we can hear you. Do we have Togbidra Aboitaka the fourth on the line? Togbi, if you can hear me, please unmute so we can hear you. Okay, while we try to reconnect with Togbi, let me go back to Mr. Moore. Ben?
Well, let's get back to Mr. Moore on this bit. So as far as you're concerned, you've heard some of what the ladies have spoken about in Central Tonga about what gets them pregnant. Beyond what we've exposed, what are some of the other underlying issues as you know them? Mr. Moore. Well, it appears we've lost Mr. Moore, so we have Togbidra Aboitaka the fourth back. Togbi, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. I believe Sweetie was trying to find out, from where you sit, being chief of Mafi Anfoe, what do you know about some of these happenings when it comes to teenage pregnancy in your community?
Yeah, thank you so much. It is true that most of these teenage pregnancy is caused by unemployment, job unavailability in the community. You know, most of the children, especially the girls, when they get to the school, the parents are jobless, they don't have any work to do. So they easily being convinced by these young men, and after they sleep with them, they got pregnant, and they ran away from them. So actually, the teenage pregnancy is a problem to myself and my stepfather and the elders of the community.
Togbi, but I mean, what measures are in place to ensure that these young men, whether young or old, we do not know for sure, who impregnate these teenage girls are also brought to book?
Yes, we normally liaise with this assembly and other government organizations, you know, to trace these people, especially the Compassion is an NGO working in the community. At times we get some of them, bring them to book, and they do a little. Since there is no job, somewhere along the line, the other run away, we don't see them again, and it's creating a whole lot of problem in the community.
Let me go back to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, the health implications of teenage pregnancy cannot be overemphasized. Do you have adequate facilities in Mafi Anfoe to ensure that these girls get the care that they need?
Yes, we have. I can tell you for sure we have actually established a chief compound there, and then we constructed a special ward for or maternity ward, and they are taking good care of teenage girls who are pregnant. Honestly speaking, we have actually assigned a midwife for them. We spoke with the health director, and the midwife has an assigned for their care during the antenatal care service. So I can be sure of the fact that they are being taken care of.
So the problem, as we know it, is the rising number of these cases. In terms of preventive measures, is there any activity to educate these young girls on the importance of protecting themselves, at least, or ensure, educate them well enough that they're not just getting pregnant and the numbers keep increasing?
Yeah, we as an assembly, we are doing so much. We have already engaged all let me put it this way, kin mothers in the whole district to actually go from schools to school to educate them. We have also formed teenage girls clubs in some communities, especially those communities that are very high on our scale or our ranking. So far, Old Bakwa is leading, followed by Abedu, Ufieji, and others. We have started forming girl clubs in those schools that at least at their leisure time, we can, a resource person can go to them and educate them to, prevent teenage pregnancy.
But these measures aren't working, are they? Because if they were, we wouldn't be seeing the rising, number in cases.
Yeah, now that we are doing so, the percentage has decreased. Initially, we were around between 18 and 16%. Now we are reduced to 14.5% as of this year. So the number keeps decreasing as you go along. With the education we are doing now, we are seeing a change in behavior and then a change in the number of teenage pregnant.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas Moore. That's the DCE of Central Tongwa. We're also joined by Togbidra Abwetaka IV. He's the chief of Mafi Anfoe. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And on that note, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more.